Almost at the end of the round of 16 at the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations. And what a game yesterday between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Mambas of Mozambique in a whitewash and a mismatch. 4-0 was how we actually ended. All right, it'll be later on today, and we'll be expecting to find out who our opponents will be this evening. But in the meantime, while we should be celebrating what was a superlative victory against the Mambas of Mozambique, there was a little bit of a spoiler, an incident on field that dovetailed off the field actually rubbed the entire game the wrong way. And AB, a lot of people are divided on this, and it has to do with Victor Osimhen chastising Ademola Lookman for missing some glaring chances or failing to deliver to him what would have been an opportunity to get a hat trick, and also the incident that involved Wilfred Ndidi trying to calm him down and him shoving him off because they were leading 3-0, talking about the Super Eagles. But now what we know was that Victor Osimhen stormed out of the stadium, and the president of the Nigeria Football Federation, talking about Ibrahim Gusso, probably going after him to pacify him, because confirmed reports have it that Victor Osimhen said he was done with the national team. He dropped his accreditation and said he was going back to Turkey. And some officials said no one should appease him and let him do what he has to do. We're waiting for more reports from the national team on this particular issue. But
Ebi Yomo and Aaron Akerejola are there at the ongoing African Cup of Nations. But it seemed to me from their report that what should be most concerning would be the behavior of Victor James Osimhen, the superstar who has been behaving well since his last issue with his Super Eagles coach. And then now, having scored 2 goals in one match, one of the goals came from Ademola Lookman providing assist, and then the second one from Akko Adams. Just because Lookman did not pass ball to you, and then he had that thief with him, telling him, no, try him again. No. I mean, I guess it's a question of maturity. But I like what the coach said, that, well, what happens in the group stays in the group. But I think the other members of the team, they should not be distracted by this. The team is supposed to work together as a team. And what we as Nigerians want is for that trophy to be brought home for the 4th time, to the glory of Nigeria, not about the tantrums. And I think some of these players, they probably need help of, psychological advice. I think those teams have, teams usually have psychologists so that they can manage them. In fact, the moment I saw Osimhen without the captain's band, and the previous match he had the captain's band, I said, how is this guy going to take this? Now that the captain's band has gone to Ndidi. But all of that is just about learning to be mature and focus on team goals rather than individual praise or glory.
With due respect, they said Osimhen said he wants to go to Turkey. He should be going. What nonsense. What nonsense. What nonsense attitude. What Ademola Lookman has achieved, you two have achieved. You are both African Footballer of the Year. Why are you doing this? Put your hand down. Then the next thing, you drop your accreditation. At first, please, this is how we can bring in discipline. The only way Osimhen should be allowed back into that team is after he apologizes to his teammates. Yeah, things will go south.
When a child misbehaves, you don't throw him away.
And that's the more reason why. That's the more reason, Dr. Abati, why he should apologize to his teammates. And what he should apologize for is him throwing his accreditation and saying, I'm done, he wants to go to. He should go to Turkey. They should rent private jet for him to go. Are you God?
Who will pay for that private
Are you God? If he goes and they win the Nations Cup behind him, which I want them to win, that's when he will know that you're not indispensable. What is it? You are there today. People were there before you. Yeah, I know players have teeth. Rashidi Yakin had his own too back in the days and all of that with, ball service. Yes, in its flow of the moment. But once you iron that with your teammate, you are your teammate, you are not his God. You're not first among equals. Osimhen, Bono, Malo Turkey. Grown team for Ajari nonsense. What rubbish.
Well, I think
See,
that what's
discipline
most
should not be
concerning
allowed to
for me
continue.
is that we're seeing sort of a culture of repetitive behavior, because I remember also
Yes,
seeing him
now.
lashing out in Uyo. That was at the match against Zimbabwe. And he also had some similar outbursts against his teammates. I remember because I was watching that against Zimbabwe. That's why I remember. That's why I remember. But having said that, there are two issues here. Internally, within the team, what are the disciplinary actions that are taken? We know that passions happen, passions override and so forth, but what are the actual disciplinary actions that stop this from becoming a brand that is associated with a single player who seems to get away with doing it continuously and denigrating his teammates, and gets away with it because he's the star? So there's a concern around that. But the most important thing right now is to stay focused. We don't need all of these side shows and distractions. The team's morale doesn't need to be dampened in any way whatsoever. They are doing well. They're performing well. So I don't understand whose village people are coming to try and scatter this, this good streak that we're currently on. So let's just focus on that. Let the spirit of sportsmanship also dominate. This is why it's also important that when your kids are growing up, let them play different sports, expose them to different things, to learn the spirit of sportsmanship, that sometimes you'll lose, sometimes you'll win, sometimes you'll be the star, sometimes you won't be the star.
We call it teamship.
Teamship.
That's the Nigerian.
Osimhen should apologize. Yeah, everybody lose their head. I want to accept, okay, he lost his head, but apologize after. What nonsense. You're African Footballer of the Year. Ademola Lookman is African Footballer of the Year. What is it?
Okay. We'll see. There must be some mature people in that team who will work it out.